Part 2. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. I'm afraid you'll cry if you lose. Ling Chu was puzzled. What are you betting on? Of course it's a bet on who can find the silver faster. Ling Chu glanced at him and ignored him. She has no interest in this matter at all. She has a system and can easily find out where the money is hidden. If you compete with her in this, the opponent will definitely lose. Even if she wins, it will be a weak victory. There is nothing to compare with. Ling Chu saw a guard in Jinyi peeling off the seal on the door of the mansion, and the closed door was pushed open. Commander Ning had already led the people in, and she also walked up the steps. Prince Jing held a folding fan in his hand and followed him in with great swagger. Ling Chu looked around as he walked inside. This mansion has not been inhabited for I don't know how many years. It is deserted inside and weeds are growing in the yard. The tiles on the roofs of some houses have long since disappeared. I don't know whose house it was originally. It's such a waste that no descendants live in such a big house. On the side, Prince Jing also looked around with curiosity. Tisk, I didn't expect that General Minggui's mansion would be so dilapidated. Ling Chu glanced at him and said, do you know whose mansion this is? Of course I know. Hey, don't you know? You shouldn't. Everyone in Kyoto knows about this house. I didn't grow up in Beijing. Oh, no wonder. Su Su saw that Ling Chu had not agreed to bet with him to find hidden silver. To show his sincerity, Prince Jing introduced the house to her with great interest. The owner of this house was a Mingui general in the reign of the late emperor. Because he was greedy for military pay and colluded with foreign enemies to plot rebellion, the late emperor ordered that he and 136 people in the mansion be beheaded. At that time, this incident could be said to be a major sensation in Kyoto. After hearing this, Ling Chu sighed in his heart. In ancient times, one person could ascend to heaven with chickens and dogs, but if something happened to one person in the family, the whole family would be affected. With so many people dead, it's no wonder that this house is so gloomy and dilapidated. Prince Jing shook his fan and said, well, since I tell you the origin of this house, let's make a bet. Ling Chu was not interested. This is something worth gambling on. Your Majesty is interested, so just take someone to look for it. If you have help, I believe Lord Ning will not stop you. That's so boring. If you really want to bet with others, you can go to those Jin Yiwei. Prince Jing glanced at the expressionless Jin Yiwei with disgust, shook his head and said, forget it, they are all just like elm knots, stupid and boring, they lose to me every time. When Jin Yiwei heard him, he didn't dare to say anything on his face, but he was in his heart. But the king of Jing was noble, but he was a well-known cricket in Kyoto. The fun of eating, drinking, playing, throwing pots and archery, and fighting and lackeys no longer attracts him. Now he always likes to follow them around and search for stolen money as a kind of fun. Ling Chu shook his head, if you bet with me, I'm afraid you'll cry if you lose. Then you must underestimate me. It's not my fault. If I were to be ranked second in the entire Kyoto, no one would dare to be ranked first. Growing up, he could easily find the treasures in his family no matter where they were hidden. He had accumulated a lot of experience in finding things, and even those royal guards were not as good as him. Jin Yiwei brought an armchair out of the house, and Ning Chui was sitting on it. He heard their conversation and did not stop it. The Prince Jing often likes to bet with his Jin Yiwei to find stolen money. Sometimes he even thinks that those Jin Yiwei are stupid and want to bet with him, which also gives him a headache. Now that he has found Miss Ling, he will naturally not stop her, lest she turn around and pester him again. Then I still can't bet with you. Why can't you bet with me? Prince Jing frowned, feeling unhappy. If he hadn't heard that this girl was very good at finding silver, he would not have been convinced and wouldn't have kept pestering her for a bet. Your Majesty, You know the situation in my family. I am still waiting to help Mr. Ning find the money so that he can help me intercede in front of the emperor and ask the emperor to be lenient to our family. In case you found the silver, Lord Ning is unwilling to help me plead. Then what should I do? I can't always watch a big family chopped by the emperor, right? Prince Jing waved his hand disapprovingly. Well, I thought it was something other than helping you plead with the emperor. As long as you agree to bet with me, I can help you plead with the emperor. Now that the national treasury is empty, as long as the property in General Minggui's mansion can be found, the emperor will definitely be willing to let you go for the sake of money. Besides, the emperor is my uncle. I will intercede for you. For my sake, he will not make things difficult for you. Even if he doesn't agree, I can still go to the imperial grandmother for help. Ning Chui glanced at Prince Jing speechlessly. He had no doubt that this fool had been sold, and he happily helped others count the money. Ling Chu didn't expect such an unexpected surprise. She guessed that Prince Jing had a distinguished status, but she didn't expect that the emperor was actually his uncle. Since she has refused several times, he still insists on betting with her. With one more person to plead for mercy, the chance is greater, so she has no reason to refuse. If you lose, you won't cry to the emperor and ask him to kill my whole family, right? Prince Jing cast a sidelong glance at Ling Chu. You underestimate this prince too much. Is this prince such a worthless person? Don't worry, no matter you win or lose, I will help you plead with the emperor. Ling Chu nodded. Okay, that's settled. He turned to Commander Ning and said, Master Ning, please be a witness. Ning Chui glanced at her and nodded in agreement. Since someone is willing to help, he is happy to be the shopkeeper. As long as he can get the property from General Minggui's mansion to pay homage to the emperor. Ling Chu asked Prince Jing, how to bet? We each pick 10 royal guards and divide them into 2 teams. Whichever team finds the fastest and most wealth within an hour will win. Your Majesty, let's choose someone first. You are from the girl's family, so you should choose first, lest word spread that I am bullying the girl's family. Ling Chu shook his head. The prince must have heard that I can use hexagrams to calculate the direction, right? This is equivalent to me using foreign objects, and the chance of winning is greater than yours. For the sake of fairness, the prince should choose first. The system couldn't tell, but what she said was a subtle reminder to Prince Jing that she had a cheat. Prince Jing did not refuse any more and said cheerfully, that's okay, I'll choose first. Soon, Prince Jing selected 10 royal guards. Ling Chu waited for him to finish picking, then walked over without looking, and casually ordered 10. She picked randomly and didn't look carefully at all. Anyway, she had a system and didn't need the help of these royal guards to search. These 10 people are mainly used to help her with some strenuous work. Prince Jing shook his head and kindly reminded her, Miss Ling, your choice is too random. You'd better observe it carefully and choose again. No need, just these people will do. Ling Chu didn't expect Prince Jing to be so kind as to remind her, and she couldn't bear it. What troubles her now is not how to win, but how to calmly tell Prince Jing not to lose too badly, lest he become angry, keep his words, and cry to his uncle, which would be a bad idea. The weather has been feverish recently. Dear book friends, please pay more attention to your health and prevent heat stroke. End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 12. Chapter 12. I really saw a puppet. Prince Jing gave some advice and saw that Miss Ling still insisted on keeping those candidates, so he had no choice but to let her go. The two of them took their selected candidates and searched around the palace of General Mingui. The Mingui General Li Lingmu is said to have fought for many years and snatched a lot of trophies from foreigners. In addition, he embezzled a lot of military pay and resold military rations, and his family had countless wealth. When the late emperor issued the order to be executed, He originally thought that Jin Yiwei would seize countless properties from his house. However, those Jinyi guards searched countless times, and besides finding letters from General Mingwei colluding with foreign enemies to rebel, they only found less than 30,000 taels of silver. The late emperor believed that Li Lingmu knew that the news of his rebellion had been leaked, and transferred the money and valuables in advance. After questioning to no avail, he could only angrily behead more than 100 members of his family. However, many people speculate that the property was not transferred, but was hidden too secretly to be found. If General Mingwei had received the news in advance and quietly moved all the valuables, there would be no reason not to secretly protect his family, and even his legitimate son, who was several years old, would have been beheaded. The current Holy Father should have the same idea, thinking that all those properties are still hidden in this mansion. Perhaps it was because the state treasury was running out of money that it almost couldn't even pay military pay. More than 100 people in General Mingwei's mansion died, and even the side branches were implicated and almost died. Those who survived have long since disappeared. The property in General Mingwei's mansion would be a waste if it were allowed to be hidden in the house. It would be better to find it and replenish the national treasury, whether it is used to provide disaster relief and rescue the people, or to pay military salaries to the soldiers on the front line who protect their homes and the country. It is 100 times better than letting it continue to be hidden in this house. Prince Jing and his 10 royal guards almost turned the entire mansion upside down, but apart from the bulky and worthless furniture, not even half a copper was found. Ling Chu inherited the original owner's ability in Xianqing contemplation and was able to use hexagrams to find approximate directions. She didn't use the system to scan from the beginning. She didn't want Master Ning and the Jinyi guards to think that she could find the money without any effort, so as not to make them suspicious. Secondly, he also didn't want Prince Jing to lose too badly and hurt his self-esteem. So at first, she just took out the copper coins and the tortoise shell, pretended to measure it for a while, and then started looking for it with others. After seeing it for half an hour without any gains, Ling Chu took out the copper coins and turtle shells and started calculating again. However, what surprised her was that after 3 consecutive calculations, the hexagrams showed empty. Ling Chu frowned. Could it be that she was not the original owner and had no master of this inherited skill, so it was not accurate? Prince Jing did not give up and led his men to search for a long time. Finally, they found more than 100 taels of silver in a remote courtyard. Seeing Ling Chu test several times, he frowned and asked curiously, "Why, you didn't figure out the hexagram technique? It seems that you are not good at this skill." Prince Jing was relieved and said proudly, "It seems you are going to lose to me." Ling Chu glanced at him and said nothing, but secretly thought in his heart that it was impossible to lose. She hasn't used her trump card yet, how could she lose? Hold the copper coins and the turtle shell in his hand and continue to calculate, secretly opening the system with his consciousness. However, the next moment, Ling Chu frowned again. The system showed that General Mingwei's mansion did not have even half a copper coin. The most valuable items are the bulky furniture that even the royal guards have abandoned. However, Ling Chu discovered that there was a secret passage under a wing of the general's mansion. It is not surprising that there are secret passages, many wealthy families will have them. But what made Ling Chu feel strange was that she found that the secret passage was quite long. It not only led directly to the outside of General Mingwei's mansion, but also bypassed 3 large houses next to it and connected to another large house with 4 entrances. She didn't know whose house the 4-door mansion belonged to, and she didn't use the system to scan it. Although Ling Chu thought this secret passage was strange, he didn't pay much attention to it. There was no money found in the house, and no help could be given. I don't know if Commander Ning would still intercede for her. Ning Chui, I saw that after waiting for such a long time, Miss Ling and Prince Jing had gained nothing, so she couldn't help but lead people to find them. Seeing Ling Chu staring at the hexagrams on the ground and frowning, it was obvious that he had encountered some kind of problem. Is there something wrong with this hexagram? Ling Chu raised his eyes and glanced at him. There is nothing wrong with the hexagrams, but, the hexagrams show that there is nothing valuable in the general's mansion. Prince Jing shook his folding fan and said nonchalantly, is it because you are not good at hexagrams? Ling Chu glared at him. The system showed that there was nothing valuable in the general's mansion. Then the prince didn't find anything of value either. Prince Jing choked. Although he found more than 100 taels of silver, the money could not have been corrupted by General Mingwei. It was probably someone's private money. Tisk, tell me, is that Li Lingmu mentally ill? He colluded with foreign enemies and embezzled so much money. Now that he has received the news and knows that his betrayal of the imperial court has been exposed, he transferred the money in advance. Why didn't he transfer the money to his family? Transfer? Even if he himself died, he also caused more than 100 members of his family to be beheaded. I don't know if he had so much money hidden. Let go. Before Prince Jing could finish his words, he suddenly covered his neck with his hands in pain. Everyone was shocked for a moment. Prince Jing looked like someone was holding his neck with both hands. Ning Chui, I felt something was wrong. Seeing that Prince Jing was out of breath, Ning Chui reached his side in a flash and tried to save him. However, no matter what he did, it was all in vain. Other royal guards also gathered around him. Prince Jing's status was so important that he couldn't let anything happen to him in front of everyone's eyes. But so many people failed to save him. He also watched helplessly as his whole body suddenly hung in the air, with a painful look on his face, and his feet suddenly hung in the air and kicked wildly. It looked like someone was pinching his neck from behind and lifting him up into the air. The problem is that there is no one behind him. This is really stupid. Everyone was so shocked by the scene in front of them that the hairs on their bodies stood up, and many people even felt that there was a cold wind around them. These Jin Yiwei are well informed and have a drum in their hearts. He could only step forward and punch, kick, and even slash Prince Jing's surroundings with swords. But it didn't hit anything except the air, and it almost hurt other Jin Yiwei. Ling Chu was lowering her head to pick up the copper coins and turtle shells on the ground. She looked up and saw a strange scene in front of her. She quickly formed a seal with her hands and untied her yin and yang eyes. It is indeed true. An unusually tall and strong ghost, with red eyes, angrily pinched Prince Jing's neck with both hands, lifted him up, and shouted crazily, I was wronged, I did not collude with foreign enemies, and I did not embezzle military pay. I didn't resell military rations, it was all you. It was you who killed my wife and children. You all deserve to die. Ling Chu frowned. If she guessed correctly, this ghost should be the Mingwei General Li Lingmu. Thanks to book friend 20230306195833531, Fat Girl for voting. How many people are reading this book? Dear book friends, can you check in the comment area or something? I don't know what to do, thank you. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 13. Chapter 13 Wolf Ambition. Seeing that Prince Jing was about to be strangled to death, Ling Chu couldn't think too much. Hurrying forward, he took out a piece of talisman and recited a spell. While the ghost's attention was on Prince Jing, he quickly flicked it, and the ignited talisman instantly rushed towards his arms. The ghost was unprepared and his arms were burned by the talisman. He let go of his hands in pain. Ling Chu took the opportunity to grab Prince Jing's arm, pulled him over, and quickly pushed him towards Commander Ning. The ghost glared at Ling Chu angrily, and instinctively wanted to catch her, but she quickly took out a piece of talisman and could only yell at her angrily, Who are you? How dare you ruin my business? You deserve to die too. Others didn't have yin and yang eyes, so naturally they couldn't see the ghost. They saw Miss Ling saying to the empty air, "Calm down. Although Prince Jing offended you, he didn't mean to do it. Please don't blame." Prince Jing's son escaped from death and was protected by Ning Chui. He was busy breathing fresh air at the moment. The other Jin Wei didn't know who Miss Ling was talking to. It was clear that there was no one in the direction she was facing. Could it be a ghost? The hairs on everyone's body stood up one after another. No wonder it felt like there was a gloomy wind here and the surroundings were filled with gloomy air. The evil spirit in this ghost is very strong. Ling Chu's soul and body have not yet adjusted well, causing his own soul to be unstable. He does not dare to be careless for fear of irritating him. He could only comfort him with a gentle voice, "Are you Mingwei General Li Lingmu?" "That's right, I won't change my name when I'm in office, and I won't change my surname when I sit down." "Listen to what you just said, were you framed to death by others? Maybe I can help you." The ghost was stunned and said doubtfully, "Can you really help me?" Seeing how young the girl in front of him was, he shook his head and said, "No way, you lied to me. You are a little girl and can't even see the emperor, how can you help me?" I didn't expect that this ghost had been dead for such a long time and had such a strong evil spirit. It was not controlled by anger and could still maintain its sanity. "Although I can't see the emperor, that one is the commander of the Jinyi guards." Ling Chu motioned the ghost to look at Ning Chui, then pointed behind him, "That one is Prince Jing, they can both see him, your majesty. If you have any grievances, I can ask them to help you convey the whole story to the emperor." The ghost saw that the two men were dressed in extraordinary clothes, so they must be of high status. But his matter is not a trivial matter. Are these two people really willing to help him redress his grievances? Since she has encountered the ghost of Li Lingmu, she can only try her best to help him fulfill his wish, so that he can accumulate merit and extend his life. Second, the silver has not been found yet. Naturally, no one knows where it is hidden better than General Mingwei. Ling Chu thought that if he could help him, he might be able to let him speak out. Anyway, now that he was a ghost, he wouldn't be able to use the money. Helping this Li Lingmu is equivalent to helping herself. Ling Chu cannot ignore it both in public and private matters. Seeing that he was still hesitating, Ling Chu had no choice but to say, "Anyway, you are like this now. Only I can see you. If you miss this opportunity, no one can help you. This girl is right. He has been dead for so many years, and indeed she is the only one who can see him." He had thought of countless ways before, but he couldn't do any harm to the enemy. Li Lingmu could feel that his soul was getting weaker and weaker, and he didn't know how long he could hold on. If he doesn't seize this opportunity, and his enemy is still alive and well after his soul is gone, then he really won't be willing to die. Although Ning Chui couldn't see the ghost, from Miss Ling's words, she could also learn that the death of General Mingwei back then might have a hidden meaning. Seeing that Miss Ling's back was tense all the time, he guessed that she might not have much confidence in dealing with the puppet soul. Even though Ning Chui has great martial arts skills, there is nothing he can do against these invisible and intangible ghosts. After all, ordinary swords cannot hurt them at all. Although he was not afraid of death, he could not let anything happen to Prince Jing under his nose. Since they have encountered him, help him if you can. If you can get his possession of silver, that would be great. The emperor was already very dissatisfied with the late emperor who listened to the slander and framed Zhongliang, and I believe the emperor would not mind rehabilitating General Mingwei. Ning Chui couldn't see the ghost and said directly to the position in front of Ling Chu, "General Li, as long as you don't hurt others at will, I can help you report your grievances to the emperor. After the emperor's verification, if you were indeed framed, the emperor will definitely vindicate you." Prince Jing escaped death and finally took a breath. When he saw Miss Ling and Brother Ning talking to the air, his heart went crazy. What just happened really scared him a little. but it was indeed his fault to speak ill of others behind their backs, so he couldn't blame them for getting angry and attacking him. If General Mingwei was indeed framed, then the more than 100 lives in his family must have died unjustly. Prince Jing poked his head out from behind Ning Chui and said cautiously, "Well, General Li, as long as you don't hurt us anymore, I can promise you to tell the Emperor about your matter and let him help you rehabilitate." After listening to what Ning Chui and Prince Jing said, Li Lingmu finally made up his mind and told the whole story. Li Lingmu was indeed framed. The person who framed him was his most trusted lieutenant Wu Yuanji. Wu Yuanji had followed him for many years. He was originally a poor low-level soldier. He saw that the other party was quite clever and had a good eye for things, so he cultivated him a lot and supported him all the way over the years. Wu Yuanji had been by his side for many years, and he seemed to be a man who repaid his kindness, so he won his trust, and the two had always had a good relationship. However, what he didn't know was that Wu Yuanji became ambitious as he was promoted. He was secretly dissatisfied with being subordinate to his official position and had been coveting the military power in his hands. Not only did he secretly collude with foreign enemies and leak the marching plan, causing him to lose the battle. He also reported to the late emperor in private, saying that he was greedy for Mo's military pay, had liaison with foreign enemies, and was plotting rebellion. The late emperor believed it and ordered him to be escorted back to Beijing to await trial. He even handed over all the military power in his hands to Wu Yuanji. Although Li Lingmu was not greedy for military pay, he had fought for many years and gained a lot of spoils from foreigners. Moreover, the wife at home is good at running a business. Over the years, she has accumulated a lot of property, and the house is quite wealthy. After he was escorted back to Beijing, Jin Yiwei only found 30,000 taels of silver from his house, but they found letters from the study that were related to foreign enemies. Although Li Lingmu didn't know why Jin Yiwei only found 30,000 taels of silver, he had always been loyal to the court and had never colluded with foreigners. So he refused to plead guilty to the crime of treason, and was eventually beheaded by the late emperor's order. It was only after his death that he discovered that Wu Yuanji had coveted the military power in his hands, so he framed him for colluding with foreign enemies and plotting rebellion. She had already coveted the property in his mansion for a long time, so she secretly bought a 4-story house near his mansion and secretly dug a tunnel leading directly to his mansion. When he was escorted back to Beijing for interrogation by the late emperor's order and his family was sent to prison, he passed through the tunnel first and secretly transferred his property to his house. The so-called letter about colluding with foreign enemies was also written by Wu Yuanji in imitation of his handwriting. Because the entrance to the tunnel was hidden, and after the property was transferred, the tunnel entrance was secretly sealed by Wu Yuanji, so it was never discovered. End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 14. Chapter 14 Helpless. Everyone present, except Ling Chu, did not have yin and yang eyes, so naturally they could not hear what Li Lingmu said. Although we can't see the ghost, we can feel the air around us is sometimes gusty and sometimes cold, making people tremble in their hearts. And Miss Ling, the expression on her face changes like a palette. It made people feel uneasy, but they couldn't help but wonder what she heard the ghost say. Especially Prince Jing, although he was strangled by the ghost, after being rescued by Ling Chu and protected by Ning Chui, he regained his fearless character. He repeatedly urged Ling Chu to tell the story. Ling Chu did not refuse and told everything about Li Lingmu. After listening to this, everyone finally understood why Miss Ling looked so weird. Li Lingmu is a 4th-grade Mingwei general, but he is unexpectedly blind. To put it bluntly, his death was not unjust. He was very devoted to the lieutenant general, but he did not realize that the other general had turned into an ambitious white-eyed wolf. Not only did he want to seize his military power and the property of his family, he even caused more than 100 people in his family to be beheaded. Li Lingmu's family, whether before or after his death, has been accused of being embezzled on military pay and having liaisons with foreign enemies for so many years, but Wu Yuanji has enjoyed all the glory and wealth because of it. This is really a life and death feud. No wonder Li Lingmu was so angry that he strangled Prince Jing's neck when he heard the words he scolded him. Prince Jing was puzzled. Wu Yuanji caused so much harm to Li Lingmu's family. Why is he still alive and well after so many years? Didn't he seek revenge on him? Ling Chu was also curious. The ghost of Li Lingmu was so powerful that it could turn into reality and pinch Prince Jing's neck. It made no sense not to go after his enemy. Li Lingmu smiled bitterly. After I died, I learned that Vice General Wu framed me, and I immediately went to seek revenge on him. But at that time, I had just died, and my soul had no power at all. Although I hated Vice General Wu, I didn't have any power at all. You can't touch him, you can't move him at all. Day and night I watched him enjoy all the glory and wealth, but I was ruined by him. The resentment in my heart accumulated more and more. Later, I found that my soul could touch the physical body, so I went to Wu Yuanji for revenge. But Lieutenant General Wu, perhaps because of his guilty conscience, was afraid that he would seek revenge after my death, so he always wore a jade pendant for protection, and stayed with him day and night, so I couldn't get close to him at all. Ling Chu asked him, "Do you have evidence that Wu Yuanji framed you? If not, we will have to think long and hard to avenge you." Li Lingmu nodded. "After I died, although I couldn't take revenge, I always followed Lieutenant General Wu. He spent a lot of the property he obtained from my house, but some of it remained. I know where he hid it. I also know where he has hidden the letters he had with foreigners, and I can take you to find them. As long as you can help me expose Wu Yuanji's true identity and let him get the end he deserves, all my properties can be left to your disposal." Ling Chu relayed his words to everyone. Prince Jing immediately geared up. "In that case, what are we waiting for? Let's go find that Wu Yuanji right now." Ning Chui had no objection. Wu Yuanji dared to have an affair with a foreigner, which was against the emperor's taboo. If this person is not eliminated, there is no telling what kind of harm it will cause in the future. Since we want to arrest Wu Yuanji, we must seize the opportunity to avoid leaking the news and allowing him to take the opportunity to escape. Ning Chui immediately entered the palace, told the emperor the whole story, and came back with an imperial edict. The group immediately rushed to Wu Mansion. Wu Yuanji has been living like a duck in water since he conspired to seize Li Lingmu's military power. However, with the death of the late emperor and the current throne, many officials in the court changed. After ascending the throne today, Wu Yuanji failed to retain the military power in his hands, and now he only serves as a sixth-rank Yuan Lang in the Ministry of Household Affairs. Today happened to be a holiday. When Wu Yuanji saw the commander of the Jinyi guards leading people into his house, his face turned pale with fright. However, after being an official for many years, Wu Yuanji panicked for a moment, but Wu Yuanji quickly calmed down. With a smile on his face, he asked Ning Chui, I don't know what the official has done, but he actually brought Mr. Ning here." Ning Chui ignored him and directly took out the imperial edict and read it out. When he heard the charges listed in the imperial edict, Wu Yuanji knelt on the ground and shouted that he was wronged. Prince Jing gave him a sidelong glance and said, "Wu Yuanji, you beheaded General Mingwei, General Li Lingmu's family. Now he has asked us to come and avenge you." As soon as he heard Li Lingmu's name, Wu Yuanji's expression changed, but he returned to normal in the blink of an eye. Prince Jing was joking. General Mingwei and I have no grievances, so how could he seek revenge from us? Li Lingmu has been dead for many years. No one knows what happened back then. No matter what happens now, it is not up to him to have the final say. Ning Chui ignored Wu Yuanji and directly ordered the Jinyi guards to search his home. Wu Yuanji immediately stepped forward to stop him. "Mr. Ning, I was wronged. I didn't commit half of those crimes. You can't search my mansion. The emperor has already issued an edict, how could Wu Yuanji stop those royal guards? Failed to find any silver in General Minggui's mansion, Prince Jing proposed to compete with Ling Chu again. Ling Chu did not agree this time and only said that he would compete with him again next time he had a chance. Then he glanced at Prince Jing's neck with a meaning. It was meant to remind him that Li Lingmu's ghost knew where Wu Yuanji's things were hidden. Although he failed to compete with Miss Ling, Prince Jing still enthusiastically took the 10 imperial guards he had selected earlier to search the entire house. Not long after, about 30,000 taels of silver were found from the warehouse in Wu Yuanji's mansion. Wu Yuanji's son was shocked and angry, and stepped forward to stop him. Prince Jing, I got this money from business, and I'm not a greedy man. You can't take it away. Prince Jing almost rolled his eyes at him. Is Wu Yuanji's son stupid? The emperor ordered his family to be confiscated, so how could he leave this money to them? However, apart from the 30,000 taels of silver, Jin Yiwei only found some dowries from the women of the Wu family and some not valuable collections. Those things found out seemed to be the property of an ordinary family, nothing special. Ning Chui frowned. Before he entered the palace to find the emperor to issue an order, he made a special trip back to the Jinyue Yamen to investigate Wu Yuanji's information with the Jinyue who was responsible for collecting information. In these years, Wu Yuanji had no military power in his hands and was only a low-level official, not satisfied with his monthly salary. Not only did he do business secretly in private, but he also used his status as an official to amass countless wealth. Now it seems that those things must have been hidden by Wu Yuanji in a very hidden place, so that neither Prince Jing nor Jin Yiwei could find them. Miss Ling, it looks like I'm going to trouble you to take action. Thanks to him who once lived in the no man's land in my heart, Big Red Apple 520, Xiao Xiao. DC, Baikan, 20230306195833531 and other book friends for their votes. Sincerely thank you all, your support is the motivation for me to code. End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 15. Chapter 15, Mistakes in Hexagram Techniques. After Ling Chu entered the Wu mansion, he did not follow Prince Jing and others to search, but just stood silently near Ning Chui. Wu Yuanji and the others had not noticed her before, but when they heard what Commander Ning said, they were both surprised and puzzled. Ling Chu nodded in agreement, then glanced at Li Lingmu's ghost calmly, and motioned for him to lead the way to find the things. Li Lingmu has been waiting for this moment for too long. After receiving Ling Chu's signal, I felt excited and immediately rushed towards the study of Wu Mansion impatiently. Ling Chu immediately raised his heels. Ning Chui waved his hand and followed with the Jin Yiwei beside him. Wu Yuanji was shocked and angry when he saw them going to the study, but he calmed down after a while. After entering the study room, Li Lingmu's ghost floated to the books and said with great excitement, Miss Ling, that thing is hidden behind the bookshelf. Take down the third travel book from the 7th row on the right side of the bookshelf, counting from right to left. After taking down the travel notes and revealing the wall behind it, Li Lingmu asked Ling Chu to knock on the wall 3 more times, and finally clapped his hands hard. After a slight noise, a hidden grid was revealed on the wall. However, surprisingly, the dark room was empty. Prince Jing did not see what he expected and frowned. Wu Yuanji, where are the things in the secret room? Wu Yuanji looked confused and frightened and said, how can there be a hidden compartment here? This house was not built by Xiaoguan, it was bought from Yahang. Xiaoguan didn't know that there was a hidden compartment here, so I don't know what's inside. But he breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, and was extremely glad that he had taken the things away first. After hearing that the house of the Secretary of the Ministry of Finance was ransacked by Jin Yiwei, for some reason, he suddenly remembered what happened back then. Wu Yuanji was uneasy and worried that something might happen, so he secretly moved the things in the secret compartment to another place. Li Lingmu's ghost found out that Wu Yuanji's letters about liaison with foreign enemies were missing, and he was angry and anxious. Those letters were related to whether he could get revenge. He had only not stared at Wu Yuanji for 3 days, so why were those things missing? Li Lingmu immediately rushed towards Wu Yuanji like a madman, but was bounced away before he even touched the corner of his clothes. Ling Chu glanced at Wu Yuanji and suddenly said, "Wu Yuanji, aren't you afraid that General Mingwei will seek revenge from you? He is by your side now." Wu Yuanji looked displeased. "Whose girl are you from? How could you come to my house and talk nonsense? General Mingwei is my benefactor. He has been kind to me, so how could he seek revenge from me for no reason?" As soon as he finished saying this, Wu Yuanji suddenly felt a chill on his body, and the hair on his back stood up. It's just that he was used to being cold-hearted and had been fighting on the battlefield for many years. His hands were stained with blood, so he quickly calmed down. Not to mention that Li Lingmu was already dead. Even when he was alive, he was just a reckless man with well-developed limbs. I haven't seen him come back to seek revenge on him for so many years, so he might have been out of his mind a long time ago. This Wu Yuanji is indeed a white-eyed wolf. It seems that he has no guilt at all for harming Li Lingmu's family. Although Li Lingmu's ghost couldn't touch Wu Yuanji, it still rushed towards him unyieldingly, trying to break through the protection and strangle him to death. Ling Chu said to him helplessly, "Okay, he has something to protect him. You can't hurt him now. You might as well go and see if the other things are still there." These words reminded Li Lingmu, and he glared at Wu Yuanji reluctantly with his deep-set eyes, then turned around and drifted away. Wu Yuanji glanced at Ling Chu inexplicably. Why did he feel that although the girl was speaking in his direction, she was not speaking to him? Could it be that Li Lingmu's ghost is really beside him? But he felt that this was impossible. Ling Chu ignored Wu Yuanji's suspicion. Seeing that the secret letters were not hidden in the secret room, she guessed that the property taken from Li Lingmu's home might have been transferred to other places by him. Li Lingmu's ghost may not yet be found. The prison of the Ministry of Punishment is not a good place, and Ling Chu does not want to stay there for a long time. She decided to make a quick decision and finish ransacking Wu Yuanji's house as soon as possible, hoping that the emperor would release them from prison as soon as possible for the sake of money. Having wasted half a day today, I still use the system to scan, which is fast and accurate. Ling Chu took out the copper coins and turtle shells from the kit. Ning Chui and the others thought she was going to use hexagrams to search, but they didn't know that she secretly used her consciousness to call up the system's virtual screen. Li Lingmu's ghost floated back at this moment. Without opening a word, just looking at his angry look, one could tell that the stolen property of his family, like the secret letter, had long been transferred by Wu Yuanji. Ling Chu guessed that Wu Yuanji felt uneasy when he saw that the house of the Minister of Revenue had been raided, so he moved the things to another place to hide them. But it doesn't matter, she has a cheat, and she can find it no matter where it is hidden. Sure enough, when he opened the scan and saw those red dots, Ling Chu raised the corners of his mouth. Wu Yuanji was originally sure that Jin Yiwei would never find the things he hid, but for some reason, he suddenly felt uneasy. Especially when he saw Ling Chu leading people towards his concubine's bedroom, he felt anxious and could only wink at the concubine Fang. Fang immediately chased after her. "You guys stop, that's my boudoir, how could you guys go in?" Ling Chu heard her voice, but ignored it. He quickly entered the bedroom, walked around the big screen, came to a large cabinet with 4 doors, and opened the door. It was filled with all kinds of colorful clothes, and Ms. Fang immediately shouted angrily, "Whose girl are you from? It's okay to hang out with a group of men. I can't control it, but how could you lead someone into my house?" Bedroom. Ling Chu glanced at her and said coldly, "Don't you see that they are Jinyi guards who came to raid the house on orders?" Fang put her hands on her hips and said, "What kind of house are you raiding? My master is very loyal to the court. You have already searched out all my property. Here are my clothes. If they are damaged, can you afford to pay for them?" Seeing that the girl in front of her was wearing an ordinary dress, Fang curled her lips in disdain. She didn't know where she came from. If her dress was damaged, it was up to her to tear it apart. Ling Chu ignored it, turned around and said to the Jin Wei standing at the door, "Come here and take out the box inside." Fang was ignored and became even more angry. "Let's see who dares to touch my things." Seeing those royal guards walking in, Fang was shocked and angry. "You are not allowed to take it out, the box is just some women's clothes." The two Jin Wei who walked in looked a little embarrassed when they saw the box of colorful clothes. "But other places have been searched, and this box must also be searched." The two of them took the box out. When the lid was opened, it was filled with all kinds of belly bands. The styles were even more revealing than those worn by girls in brothels. The two Jin Wei looked away with embarrassed expressions. It seems that Miss Ling's hexagram was wrong this time. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 16. Chapter 16 Heartache and Bleeding. Fang hurriedly stepped forward and closed the lid of the box with a snap. With a red face, he said angrily to Ling Chu, "You girl, do you want to force me to death? How can I have the face to see others in the future?" Ling Chu was so noisy by her that his ears kept ringing, and he said impatiently, "Don't worry about that, it doesn't matter whether you have a face or not. When you go to prison, even if you have a face, you won't be able to see outsiders." Fang was so angry that he couldn't help but stretch out his hand, trying to scratch the beautiful little face in front of him. Ling Chu had been on guard against her for a long time. When Fang rushed towards her, he turned his body to the side and stretched out his feet. Fang immediately fell to the ground with a thud. Ling Chu didn't even bother to give her a glance. He pointed at the bottom of the big box and said to the two stunned guards, "What are you doing standing there? Why don't you come here and tear down the bottom panel?" When Fang heard this, he immediately struggled to get up from the ground to stop him. Ling Chu would not let her come to stop her again, so he stepped forward quickly and knocked Fang unconscious with a knife. The two Jin Wei did not expect that she would take action as soon as she disagreed. They opened their mouths but did not dare to say anything. They quickly stepped forward and removed the bottom board of the wooden box. Once the base plate was removed, the darkroom underneath was exposed. Ling Chu directed them to open the darkroom and took out a large rosewood box filled with a dazzling array of jewelry. Li Lingmu's ghost immediately became red-eyed when he saw those jewelry. These were the things he bought for his wife. After being snatched away by Wu Yuanji, a merciless man, they actually gave them to his concubine. When Wu Yuanji saw the box of jewelry being carried out, a flash of anger flashed in his eyes, but he didn't dare to get angry. He could only endure his anger and turned to Ning Chui with a smile. "Master Ning, this is the dowry for the concubine's house." Prince Jing was almost dazzled by the jewelry. He picked up a hairpin and looked at it. "Hey, there are words engraved on it." "That's Mrs. Li Lingmu's maiden name." Ling Chu glanced at Wu Yuanji with a half smile. Wu Yuanji felt that the girl's eyes were like a slap on his face, and he was angry that Fang didn't hide the things well. When he brought back Li Lingmu's property, he found that the jewelry had Mrs. Li's maiden name engraved on it, and he couldn't get rid of them. Fang saw that the jewelry was exquisite and luxurious, and he saw that she really liked it, so he left it to her. Who would have thought that after so many years, outsiders would find out? Mrs. Li has a good relationship with Xiaoguan's concubine, so she said she would give it to her as a memory. I have never seen such a shameless person. Ling Chu couldn't help but scold him. Wu Yuanji, Mrs. Li is the principal wife. I heard that she has always disliked those concubines. If you say this, you won't be afraid of her in the middle of the night. Climb here from to renew our friendship with my concubine. Seeing everyone looking at him with disdain, Wu Yuanji glared at Ling Chu fiercely. Ling Chu glanced at the second red dot scanned in the system, and said tremblingly, Wu Yuanji, are you so angry that you want to kill me? As she spoke, she backed away in horror, and suddenly hit the wall behind her with a loud bang. Everyone heard her cry out in pain and turned around to see that a piece of the wall had been broken. Ling Chu immediately laughed and said, well, this wall is made of tofu, how can it break with just a light touch? Wu Yuanji's pupils narrowed and he was about to step forward. Ling Chu quickly reached out and touched the hole in the wall, and said in surprise, hey, what is this thing? It's shiny and golden, and it looks pretty good. Attracted by her words, everyone turned their heads, just in time to see Ling Chu reach out and pull out a shining gold brick from the hole in the wall. Seeing something exposed, Wu Yuanji immediately took out a dagger from his sleeve pocket and rushed towards Ling Chu. Ning Chui moved his steps and kicked him. Wu Yuanji's body hit the wall next to Ling Chu, and then slid to the ground like a dead fish. There was too much money at home, and Wu Yuanji was worried that it would attract others to covet him. Therefore, the wall was built by himself and was not stable. With his smash, the bricks fell off one after another, revealing the golden mezzanine inside. The dazzling golden light almost blinded everyone. Even Prince Jing, who was born with a golden key to the palace, was so surprised that his eyes almost popped out of his head. Wu Yuanji, how much money and anointing did he plunder, actually built an entire wall with gold bricks? Ning Chui glanced at the golden wall, and then ordered Jin Yiwei to find a box, remove all the gold bricks, and put them into the box. Ling Chu saw that there were too many gold bricks, so he volunteered to help. As the gold bricks were removed, a red lacquered box was exposed in the corner of the wall. Ling Chu looked surprised. Hey, come and take a look, there is something hidden here. Prince Jing quickly stepped forward, took apart the gold bricks in twos, and quickly dug out the red lacquer box. Wu Yuanji was kicked by Ning Chui and hit the wall, and he fainted immediately. He happened to wake up at this moment and saw the dug-out gold and the red lacquer box. He was so angry that he opened his mouth and spit out a mouthful of blood, then fainted again. Li Lingmu's ghost was extremely excited when he saw the secret letter of collusion with foreigners in the box. He knew that the great revenge he had been waiting for many years finally had a chance to be avenged. Although Wu Yuanji fainted, he probably kept his gold bricks and secret messages in mind and soon woke up again. However, no one expected that when he woke up and saw the boxes of gold bricks, Wu Yuanji poured dirty water on Li Lingmu's head in order to get rid of the crime. Master Ning, these gold bricks and the contents in the box do not belong to Xiaoguan. They were given to Xiaoguan by Mingwei General Li Lingmu before his death and asked me to keep them for him. I know this is wrong, but Li Lingmu was kind to me and helped me many times during his lifetime. And he also threatened me that if I didn't agree to keep it for him, he would kill my wife and children. The ghost of Li Lingmu was beside him, and he was so angry that he wanted to eat Wu Yuanji alive. Ling Chu almost laughed angrily. Wu Yuanji was really thick-skinned. Rolling his eyes, Ling Chu grabbed the letter before Ning Chui and asked, Wu Yuanji, are these things really entrusted to you by Li Lingmu for safekeeping? Ning Chui glanced at her. Although he didn't know what she was planning, he didn't stop her. Wu Yuanji was delighted when he saw the girl taking the bait. It was indeed Li Lingmu who gave it to me for safekeeping. Oh, do you have anything else to prove your innocence, Wu Yuanji? Life in the prison of the Ministry of Punishment is not easy. Although the words were not finished, Wu Yuanji understood the meaning. If he was taken to jail, his family would have no chance of survival. However, he didn't have any evidence. He just saw that the commander of Jinyue kept a sullen face, and then thought about the contents of the box. In order to win his trust, I could only grit my teeth and take out a broken chamber pot from the utility room and a stack of papers from it. Master Ning, Li Lingmu is worried that all his family property will be confiscated, so he has handed over the deeds of the property, farm, and shop to the lower officials for safekeeping. Ling Chu said with an extremely sincere face next to him, "It seems that Wu Yuanji is really innocent. Li Lingmu has great trust in you." End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 17. Chapter 17, Being Tricked. Wu Yuanji nodded. Yes, Li Lingmu threatened his subordinates to keep these contracts for him. Li Lingmu's ghost was so angry that he vomited blood. These contracts were obviously stolen by him. If he hadn't been able to get it to the Yamen to change it into his own, he wouldn't have kept it. Prince Jing couldn't help but said, "Master Wu, why didn't you give these things to Jin Yiwei when something happened to Li Lingmu?" "Leave it to Jin Yiwei, how is that possible? These things, he had planned for a long time to get, how could he hand them over?" he said with a panic expression on his face. The lower official is timid and afraid of getting into trouble. He is worried that if he hands it over, he will be misunderstood by the Jin Yiwei, so he doesn't dare to hand it over. Wu Yuanji was heartbroken. Although the contract was not his, it was in his hands. As long as he told the shop owner and the shop assistants that it was given to him by Li Lingmu, others would not be able to do anything to him even if they had suspicions. Those farm shops bring him a lot of income every year. In order to win over Lord Zinning and avoid being thrown into prison, he could only endure the heartache and hand it over. Ling Chu suddenly sighed, "Hey, I've been busy all day today, and I'm tired and hungry. I'm just a girl, so let's forget it." However, those Jinyi guards can't work in vain after they've been tired all day, right? Wu Yuanji, look. The words were not finished, but Wu Yuanji understood what he meant. This is a fee. Ning Chui and Prince Jing also understood what Ling Chu said and frowned. They were not the kind of people who would accept bribes. Ling Chu saw them wanting to speak and quickly winked. Wu Yuanji looked ugly. There were so many royal guards, how much benefits he had to give. But it was a matter of life, so he had to give it. Forget it, I can only console myself by keeping the green hills and not worrying about running out of firewood. As long as he is allowed to escape this disaster, he will definitely find a way to make more money back in the future. Wu Yuanji endured his heartache and said with a smile, "Everyone has worked hard, butler, why don't you go get some tea money for the adults?" The housekeeper only agreed, but he was complaining in his heart. There is not even half a copper in the house. Where can he get the money? There is only the last place. He went to get money for these royal guards. They shouldn't follow him, right? The housekeeper was unsure, but he had no choice but to bite the bullet and walk out of the yard. Seeing that the royal guards did not follow him, the housekeeper felt relieved. After turning left and right, he walked into a rockery. Ling Chu immediately turned his head and said to the imperial guards, "Why are you still standing there in a daze? Why don't you take action quickly?" Those Jin Yiwei looked confused. What did Miss Ling ask them to do? Ning Chui glanced at them with disgust. Why didn't he realize that the guards under him were so stupid? Prince Jing also understood. He raised his leg and kicked the Jin Yiwei next to him. "Are you stupid? Of course you are copying money. The butler has already led you, why are you standing there stupidly?" The guards suddenly realized what they were doing, turned around and hurriedly chased in the direction of the housekeeper. Wu Yuanji was so angry that he almost vomited blood and glared at Ling Chu fiercely, "How dare you lie to me?" Ling Chu almost rolled his eyes at him, Master Wu, those words of yours are just to deceive a 3-year-old child. We are not fools like Li Lingmu. The ghost of Li Lingmu next to him looked ashamed. He was indeed stupid. He was heartbroken for Wu Yuanji, a white-eyed wolf, and was not aware of his wolfish ambitions at all. Wu Yuanji wanted to slap himself a few times. He always thought of himself as smart, but he didn't expect to be tricked by a little girl. The housekeeper's face turned pale when he saw the royal guards swarming into the cave like wolves and tigers. He wanted to stop him, but how could he defeat those imperial guards? The last 500,000 taels of silver hidden in the cave were dug out of the soil by the Jinyi guards. Wu Yuanji was so filled with hatred that he could only plead to Commander Ning, Master Ning, these were all given to me by Li Lingmu. My lord, I was wrong. I should not have been timid and did not hand over everything. Get out. Please, sir, please show your respect. Wu Yuanji's son plucked up the courage to plead, yes, sir, my father is an upright official and has never been greedy for money. Wu Yuanji's concubine felt that the sky was about to collapse. Sir, please, don't take us to prison. My husband is innocent. It was Li Lingmu who harmed us. Master Ning, I am wrong. I should not be threatened by Li Lingmu and hide these ill-gotten gains for him. Ling Chu almost laughed angrily. Now that things have happened, Wu Yuanji is still pouring dirty water on the dead. Does he think that Li Lingmu is dead and no one knows the truth, so he will take whatever he says? Ling Chu took out a bottle of cow's tears redeemed from the system mall from his sleeve pocket, and quickly sprinkled a drop into Wu Yuanji's eyes while he was unprepared. With a smile, he said, Wu Yuanji, since you said those things were given to you by Li Lingmu, come on, let's confront each other in front of everyone and see who lied. Wu Yuanji was stunned for a moment, and then became furious. What is this girl doing again? However, before he could get angry, he suddenly realized that the scene in front of him seemed a bit sinister. While he was in shock and confusion, a pale and familiar face suddenly appeared in front of him. Wu Yuanji took a closer look and discovered that it was Li Lingmu who had been dead for many years. Li Lingmu's ghost clicked his hands a few times, straightened his head that was tilted to one side, stared at him sinisterly with blood-filled eyes, and floated toward him with his feet off the ground. Wu Yuanji, you are a wolf-hearted person. I treated you like a brother and cultivated you carefully, but you framed me for rebellion and killed my whole family. You deserve to die. Give me the lives of my wife and children. Wu Yuanji did not expect to see the ghost of Li Lingmu, and his legs and feet were trembling with fear. Instinctively, he raised his hand to touch the protective jade pendant in his arms, only to find that the jade pendant had been smashed into pieces at some point. He immediately turned pale with fright. Li. Master Li, you, don't come here. I didn't mean to kill your whole family. I thought you would be demoted at most, but I didn't know your whole family would be beheaded. Mr. Li, I was wrong. I should not have coveted your military power or sought your family's property. I was wrong. Please let me go. Ling Chu originally thought that Wu Yuanji was not afraid of ghosts, but it turned out that he looked up to him. Previously, it was just because he had a protective jade pendant, and the ghosts could not get close to him, so there was nothing he could do about him. Now that he had nothing to protect himself, Wu Yuanji was so frightened that he turned around and wanted to run away, but found that no matter where he rushed, Li Lingmu's ghost would be one step ahead of him and block his way. Li Lingmu realized that he had nothing to protect him. He could no longer hold back the hatred in his heart and rushed forward and grabbed him by the neck. Others could not see the ghost of Li Lingmu. They only saw Wu Yuanji first begging for mercy in the empty air, then running away in fear, and now his feet were in the air, as if someone had grabbed his neck and lifted him into the air. Those Jinyi Wei saw the familiar scene in front of them. Although they still felt strange, they were calmer than the previous time. As for Wu Yuanji's family, their faces were pale with fear and they were trembling in the corner. No one dared to step forward to rescue him. End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 18. Chapter 18 I don't owe you anything. Li Lingmu had been hating him for many years and finally got in touch with his enemy. He wanted to strangle Wu Yuanji to death immediately. Wu Yuanji's neck was pinched, his eyes turned white, and there was almost only air left, not in. Ling Chu saw that the evil aura on Li Lingmu's body was getting stronger and stronger, and he was worried that he would strangle him to death, so he quickly took out a body-fixing talisman and slapped it on him. Li Lingmu's ghost could not move, so Wu Yuanji struggled to get out of his hands and fell to the ground with a thud. While coughing desperately, he struggled backwards, trying to get away from Li Lingmu. Ling Chu glanced at him and took off the amulet from Li Lingmu's body. Finding that he could move, Li Lingmu wanted to pounce on Wu Yuanji again and strangle him to death. Ling Chu had no choice but to say, "Li Lingmu, Wu Yuanji deserves to die, but you can't touch him yet. The mistakes he made will be executed by the emperor in the human world. After he died and went to the underworld, the king of and the judge would decide what kind of punishment he should suffer, and there would be no less. People are different from each other. If you kill him now, you will be responsible for the consequences. Not only will you be harmed, but your dead relatives will also be affected." Fortunately, Li Lingmu's ghost still had some sanity left, although he wanted to kill Wu Yuanji immediately. But Miss Ling is right, his family has been killed by this ungrateful thing, and he can no longer let them be implicated by him and ruin their moral character in the next life. Of course Ling Chu didn't have a holy mother's heart and wanted Li Lingmu to let Wu Yuanji go. On the contrary, Wu Yuanji thought he had escaped a disaster and was glad in his heart, but little did he know that now was the beginning of his nightmare. Given Li Lingmu's hatred for him, he will definitely follow Wu Yuanji day and night. Although he cannot kill him, he will definitely suffer all kinds of torture. She used cow tears on Wu Yuanji. Not only could she see Li Lingmu's ghost, but other puppet souls could also see it. A group of puppet souls are always around him, and the taste is enough for Wu Yuanji to drink a pot. After ransacking the house, Ning Chui and his men brought all the gold, silver, and jewelry into the palace. As for Wu Yuanji and his family, they were all taken to the prison of the Ministry of Punishment by the Jinyi guards. As for Ling Chu, after the matter was finished, he naturally had no choice but to return to the prison of the Ministry of Punishment. Fortunately, before Ning Chui entered the palace, seeing that she had helped her a lot, he said to her, "Miss Ling, please wait with peace of mind for now. I will not forget what I promised you." With his words, Ling Chu finally felt relieved. After returning to the prison of the criminal department, Ling Chu glanced at the clean table, said nothing, and sat down on the wooden bench to rest. Mrs. Dong glanced at her with a complicated look, and then looked sideways at her little daughter who was leaning listlessly beside her, with a flash of distress in her eyes. Turning his head, his face was full of worry. "Sister Chu, you went out today, but did you help Mr. Ning with something?" Ling Chu glanced at her and said lightly, "Hmm." Seeing that she had nothing to say, Dong frowned almost invisible. After a moment of silence, Mrs. Dong spoke again, "Sister Chu, have you asked Lord Ning to help us plead with the Emperor?" No, she did not ask Master Ning to plead for mercy, but Ning Chui said that he would not forget his promise to her. Mr. Dong was confused by her cold attitude. Although she didn't say anything more, she felt disappointed on her face. His long eyelashes drooped down, covering her eyes. As expected, this daughter who was not raised by her side was not close to her. The second lady glared at Mr. Dong with dissatisfaction, turned around and said eagerly, "Miss, you didn't plead with Master Ning, what should we do? How long do you want us to stay in the prison?" The third lady also had the same look on her face. Anxious and worried. "Yes, big girl, how could you do this? Your grandparents and grandparents are too old to bear this crime. I haven't been with you since I was a child, I just don't know you. I see my family suffer, but I don't do anything. That heart is really cold and cruel. Ling Chu listened to the accusations one after another, and Qing Lingling's eyes swept over everyone one by one. The wife looked weak and weak, leaning against the wall weakly, her eyes closed tightly, as if she had fallen asleep. Ms. Dong lowered her head silently, feeling disappointed. Several girls stared at her dissatisfied, with condemnation in their eyes, as if she was a heartless and cold-blooded person. Ling Chu felt no sadness in his heart. Except for the name of a relative, these people were no different from strangers. I don't owe you anything. As for how long I will live in this prison, ask the jailer. She will not be kidnapped by others' morality casually. Even if she asks for mercy, it must be of her own free will, not it was forced. Ling Chu finished speaking quietly and ignored it. He leaned against the wall and closed his eyes to rest. She couldn't eat well or sleep well in the prison. She was tired after another busy day today. Plus it was almost night time and I was too weak to even talk. However, seeing her indifferent expression, the second lady felt angry and said in a strange way, "Miss, what you said is wrong. Although you did not grow up in the mansion, you did not grow up by eating incense in Xianqing Temple. Big. The government has not failed to support you, and after so many years, it is also a considerable expense. Since you are a girl from the Shangshu mansion and your family has supported you since you were brought up, how can you remain silent when you are needed now?" The third lady also said warmly, "That's right, big girl. Maybe you grew up in Xianqing Temple and don't know these things clearly. But no matter who you are, your family supported you when you were a child. When you grow up, you should repay the family." Ling Chu felt agitated. Why was it so difficult to think about purging his mind for a while? Opening his eyes were cold and authentic. "Although I didn't grow up eating incense, I haven't spent half a copper in the house since I was a child. The person who supported me when I grew up was my master, Xianqing Guan, and you guys have nothing to do with each other. That's why I said just now, I don't owe you anything. Even if she owes something, she still owes it to the original owner. After all, she inherited his body." The second madam frowned and said, "Miss, are you mistaken? The family sends your offerings to Xianqing Temple every year. Over the years, it has never stopped. Every person in the Shangshu mansion is supported by the public. Everyone has clothes, hair, money, and money for the 4 seasons of the year, no matter whether they are boys or girls. Although Ling Chu does not live in the mansion, her share belongs to the mansion, and the mansion sends people to Xianqing Temple every year. There is no need for me to lie. If you don't believe me, you can go to Xingxuan Qingguan and ask my master. As for where the money in the house has gone, you shouldn't ask me." What Ling Chu said is true. The original owner didn't know this when he was a child, but he found out accidentally when he grew up. She knew that her fate was not good and her family did not like her. After sending her to Xianqing Temple, they never took care of her. I didn't provide any money to support her, maybe because I was afraid that she would kill her if I got involved. Although the original owner was sad, he did not cry or make trouble. Instead, he worked hard to study mystical arts. He followed his master to work everywhere at a young age, trying to find ways to make money to support himself. The second lady didn't believe it, so she turned around and asked Ms. Dong, "Sister-in-law, don't you send people to send silver to Xianqing Temple every year?" Although she is not in charge of the government affairs in the mansion, the second madam is still roughly aware of the expenditures in the mansion. She remembers that in the account book, there is expenditure for Xianqing Guan every year. I ask all book friends to vote and support it. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 19. Chapter 19, Relegated to Common People. Dong's heart sank, and she frowned and said, "This is impossible. Aunt Guan goes to Xianqing Temple to deliver money every year and never fails." Ling Chu twitched the corners of his lips and did not respond to her words. "Then the nun doesn't live in the same cell as them, so even if you want to question her, you can't." Ms. Dong looked guilty and said, "Sister Chu, it's my mother who couldn't help you and didn't find out about this. If you want to blame your mother. It's your mother who didn't fulfill her responsibilities to you." The third girl, Ling Qing, saw Dong's guilt and said hurriedly, "Mom, it's not your fault. There are more than 100 people in our house, and it's hard for you to take care of the middle school in the house. You also have to take care of your father, and the eldest brother is weak. Energy is limited, you didn't notice these little things, it's not your fault." Ling Chu gave her a sarcastic look. "Yes, Mr. Dong was very busy all day long. I am busy taking care of more than 100 people in my house, but I just can't spare the time to pay attention to my daughter who is far away in Suankigwan." Ling Chu was not sad. The original owner is sad. That is a poor little person whose father has not cared for him since he was little, and whose mother has not loved him. Although she has relatives, she is no different from an orphan girl. The second lady and the third lady looked at each other. Neither of them expected that the eldest lady would ignore their daughter so completely. There was silence in the cell. The wife opened her eyes, glanced at Mr. Dong with dissatisfaction, turned her head and said slowly, "Sister Chu, my grandmother knows that you have been wronged. Your mother did not notice this, and it was her fault. However, what your third sister said is right. Your mother is in charge of the household. She has to serve me, an old woman, and your grandfather, and she also has to take care of the juniors in the household. She has no free time all year round. Grandma was also wrong. She didn't notice that something was wrong with the servants in the house. But Grandma promises you that when you get out, she will deal with Grandma Guan and give you a satisfactory explanation. What do you think?" Ling Chu quietly glanced at the madam and said noncommittally, "It all depends on Grandma." She knew that the madam wanted to make the decision for her, not because she had been wronged or because she felt sorry for her. But I heard that she didn't ask Master Ning to help plead for mercy, because she thought she had resentment. Proposed to deal with Nanny Guan, hoping to calm her down so that she could go to Lord Ning to plead for mercy. Although Mrs. Tai did not say it clearly, Ling Chu knew that the prerequisite for dealing with Aunt Guan was that she could get everyone out of the prison of the Ministry of Punishment alive. The original owner is dead, so it doesn't make much sense to not take care of the nanny everywhere. Actually, Ling Chu had a doubt in her mind. Although she didn't know who Aunt Guan was, as a servant, could she be so bold as to steal the money from her donation? The eldest master's concubine, Aunt Rongming, said to Ling Chu in a soft voice, "Miss, your brother has been weak since he was a child, and I don't know what is going on in that prison now. If you can, please ask someone to take care of him. It doesn't matter if you give him some clean food or a bowl of water, it's all good." Seeing that Ling Chu just looked at her with cold eyes but said nothing, Aunt Wen felt unhappy. But after a pause, he continued, "The eldest girl is now grown up, and when she gets out of this prison, she will be old enough to say goodbye. It turns out that you are not in the house, and you are not familiar with your brothers and sisters at home. Although your eldest brother is physically weak, he is kind-hearted and has always cared about you, the twin sister. There is also your third brother, although his temper is a little more lively, but he still talks about you, the eldest sister, from time to time. I have been planning to go to Xianqing to see you before, but I saw that he had a bad temper and was worried about him going out, so I didn't let him go. The aunt is not right. After all, you are a sister, and your aunt shouldn't stop him to see you. But from now on, when the eldest girl stays with us, I will let your third brother get along well with you, the eldest sister. If you have anything to do in the future, just ask him to run errands. He is older now and is not as naughty as before, so he can handle things reasonably well. If the emperor is willing to be lenient and let you juniors out, even if we elders are gone, you siblings can support each other in the future, and we will not be worried about leaving. Ling Chu raised his eyebrows. This Aunt Wen is not simple. This is because the second madam and the others have a bad attitude, and they guess that she may be soft-spoken, and they are playing the tenderness card towards her. First, she mentioned that her twin brother was weak and asked her to find someone to take care of him and give him food and water. If she had done so, her brother would not have had to eat and drink to himself. The third brother is in the same cell as him, so he should be able to get some food. Aunt Wen is very smart and wants to help her son in a roundabout way. The third brother once made a fuss about going to Xianqing to see her, but was stopped by Aunt Wen. She bluntly said that she was not doing the right thing and that she could bend and stretch. The most important thing is that it's time for her to have a haircut. This is to remind her that when she gets married in the future, she cannot do without the support of her natal brothers. Even if Ling Chu doesn't want to care about other people's lives, he still has to think about himself, right? So, even if it is just for herself, she must rescue the eldest brother and the third brother. Ling Chu looked at her with a half-smile. Aunt Wen, you can go with peace of mind, but I won't let you leave without peace of mind. Even if I'm the only one left, I can handle the rest of the things smoothly. Aunt Wen is her father's concubine. Even for her father's sake, she has to manage her affairs smoothly. Aunt Wen, considering her dedicated efforts, should she be able to gain more merit, right? Ling Chu's words made Aunt Wen speechless. For a moment, Aunt Wen felt that the girl's eyes seemed to see through her little thoughts. But as soon as the idea came up, I felt it was impossible. The eldest girl is only just old enough to have hairpins. How can she guess her thoughts? Others saw that Aunt Wen, a well-rounded person, was frustrated by Ling Chu's hands, and they all shut up in a wise manner. Ling Chu's ears were now clear. When Ma Dalian distributed food to the prisoners in the prison, he prepared another portion for Ling Chu. Ling Chu divided out a share and asked the horse jailer to take it to the men's cell and give it to her eldest brother. It was not because of her motherly heart, but because the person behind the assassination of the original owner had not yet been found out, so she had better not appear too strong, lest the people behind him become wary. When Mrs. Tai and the others saw this, they all had a little smile on their faces. Aunt Wen felt proud. It seemed that the eldest girl had taken her words into her heart. No matter how tough you say, as a girl, you still have to rely on your family. This night, Ling Chu still couldn't calm down. The sixth girl was possessed by a puppet spirit that appeared out of nowhere and made a fuss asking the jailer to let her out. The second lady and the others saw that her words and deeds suddenly changed into that of a man, and they were so frightened that they cried and shouted. Ling Chu had no choice but to take action and use talisman to drive the puppet soul out of the sixth girl's body. When she took action, the other ghosts knew that she had yin and yang eyes, and almost made dumplings out of her. Fortunately, Ling Chu inherited the skills of the original owner, so nothing happened. But this whole night, she didn't dare to close her eyes and sleep. After staying up all night, I finally got some good news the next day. Everybody in Shangshu Mansion was demoted to common people. End of this chapter. I made a fortune by raiding houses in ancient times. Author, Half-Life Calligraphy. Chapter 20. Chapter 20, Making Trouble. The Emperor spared his efforts and did not behead everyone in the Shangshu Mansion. This was supposed to be a great joyous event, but at this moment no one was happy. After listening to the reading the imperial edict, the second lady immediately collapsed on the ground. No. This is impossible. We are the minister's government. How can we be demoted to common people? There must be a mistake, there must be a mistake, right? The second madam looked crazy, and the Thai madam was not much better either. Eunuch Cao sneered, the imperial edict is clearly written, how could there be a mistake? The eldest lady looked anxious, Eunuch Cao, where is my eldest husband? Could it be that the imperial edict of the Xie family was just read in vain? Naturally, Mr. Ling was demoted to the common people together, not just him, but all of you as well. In fact, the eldest lady heard the imperial edict just now clearly, but she still held a trace of luck in her heart. Eunuch Cao's words shattered the last hope in her heart. The eldest lady immediately turned pale and collapsed on the ground. The eldest master is the middle of the 5 grades, and she used to think that the husband was too low. But now, the official position that she disliked so much was gone. The wife swayed and fainted immediately. The second lady's face was extremely ugly. Even the eldest master had been demoted to a commoner. The second master was just a member of the 6th rank Guanglo temple, so naturally he was gone. When Eunuch Cao saw this, his face immediately darkened. Why, are you dissatisfied with the emperor's judgment? The second lady felt anger rushing to her forehead and almost screamed. Who can be satisfied with this? Originally, they were the high-ranking ministers of the Ministry of Household Affairs, but now they are lowly common people. They will be happy only if they are satisfied. If she hadn't seen Commander Ning standing aside with his hands behind his back like a murderous god, the second lady would have wanted to the imperial edict from Eunuch Cao's hand and tear it to pieces. It's true that people's hearts are so incompetent. If the emperor didn't care about Miss Ling, and Ling Shangsha's greed for money, the emperor would have beheaded all of you long ago. Now the emperor is lenient and spares your life, but you are still not satisfied. Otherwise, the Zhejiang family will take the imperial edict back and ask the emperor to issue it again. Originally, as a girl, Ling Chua had no elders in her family, so it was not her turn to receive the imperial edict. However, when she saw that Eunuch Cao was angry, she had to quickly take the imperial edict and said, there is no need to trouble Eunuch Cao. We are not dissatisfied with this edict. I hope Eunuch Cao won't be offended. My second aunt and the others are so happy. It is a great kindness for the emperor to be open to Shang Shufu. When Eunuch Cao returned home, he told the emperor on his behalf. Everyone in the Ling mansion thanked the emperor for his great kindness. The second lady glared at Ling Chu fiercely. If she wasn't worried about Eunuch Cao and Commander Ning, she really wanted to strangle this scourge to death. Eunuch Cao was originally angry, but for Ling Chu's sake, he didn't say anything more. He glared at the second lady, shook his fly whisk, and led the 2 young father-in-laws back to the palace. Ning Chui asked the jailer to open the cell door, and Ling Chu walked out. Thank you so much, Mr. Ning, your great kindness will be unforgettable to Ling Chu. Ning Chui lowered his eyes and glanced at her, and said softly, no need to thank you very much. If you need your help in the future, I hope that you can be more considerate. Don't worry, sir, Ling Chu is not an ungrateful person. Ning Chui nodded, said nothing more, and left with the Jinyi guards beside him. Ling Chu waited until he was farther away, then he also walked out. Finally able to leave this prison, she didn't want to stay any longer. Seeing that Ling Chu was gone, the eldest lady and the second lady hurriedly helped the eldest lady up, and hurriedly followed her with the others. When they arrived outside, Ling Shangshu led everyone and was waiting for them. Ling Chu ignored it and walked towards the gate of the criminal department. Once outside, Ling Chu stopped in distress, not knowing where to go. Although the emperor was generous, he spared their lives. However, the Shangshu mansion was raided, all the family property was confiscated, and the mansion was naturally taken back. Ling Shangshu led the family out of the gate of the Ministry of Punishment, still at a loss. Now they have no money and no place to stay. Ling Chu was distressed when Ma Dalin hurriedly walked out of the prison. Miss Ling, Miss Ling. Hearing Ma Dalin's shout, Ling Chu was a little surprised. "Master Ma, what's the matter with you looking for me?" Hearing Ling Chu call him sir, Ma Dalin quickly waved his hand. "Girl, if you don't mind, just call me Uncle Ma." In ancient times, status was strictly hierarchical. Ling Chu also knew that outsiders, a low-level jailer, really couldn't be called an adult, so he changed his words and said, "Uncle Ma, what's the matter? I don't know where Miss Ling will live in the future. My wife wants to wait until the child is 1 month old and take him to kowtow to the girl." His Jelim felt that the girl Ling was a person who had the ability. These days, he asks someone to inquire, knowing that she has always lived in Xianqing Guan. Genren Xuanyi of Xianqing Temple is a very powerful master. Miss Ling should have learned a lot of skills in Xianqing Temple. Secretly, he wants to make good friends with Miss Ling. Ling Chu sighed, "Uncle Ma, I don't even have a place to live now." Ma Dalin was stunned for a moment, and in a hurry, he couldn't think of it for a moment. The family property of the Minister of Household Affairs has been confiscated, and now they really don't even have half a copper on them. All the valuables he had on him were searched by the jailers when he entered the prison. Ma Dalin looked embarrassed. "Miss Ling, what will you do as a big family in the future? If nothing else, you must first find a place to stay." When the second lady heard what jailer Ma said, she stared at Ling Chu jealously. "Girl, we are penniless now, you can't leave us alone." Although Ling Chu was dressed plainly, her belongings were not searched by the jailers. Now he still wears a jade hairpin on his head and a jade pendant bag hanging on his body. Other than these, I don't know what else is valuable in her hands. The eldest master, Ling Zong, saw that the jewelry on his eldest daughter had not been taken away by the jailer. He immediately felt happy and said, "Sister Chu, we don't have any money now, so let's the hosta on your body and find a place to stay first." Ling Chu glanced at him, did not refute, and nodded in agreement. "Okay." Since she has inherited the body of the original owner, her revenge must be avenged for her. It's just that she has just traveled through time and doesn't know who killed the original owner, so she can only keep this family under her nose first. Although the danger of beheading has been resolved, her soul has not yet integrated with her body and she may die at any time. Wait for her to find a way to integrate her soul and body first, and then she would be free to find out the cause of the original owner's death and help her avenge her bloodshed. "Uncle Ma, do you know where there is a cheap house to rent?" Ling Chu had a dark eye on Kyoto. "The houses in Nanjing are quite cheap, but, I'm afraid it's a bit messy there." Before Ling Chu could speak, the second lady took the lead and said, "Not in the South City, there are slums over there, not in the North City, where lowly people live." Ling Chu almost laughed angrily and didn't even bother to pay her any attention. "Uncle Ma, there are other houses, it's fine if it's a little remote, the main thing is that it's safe. Ms. Ling's family now has no money, there are too many people, and the place is too small to live in." Ma Dalin also had a headache for a while. He hesitated for a moment and then said, "There is a very cheap house in Dongcheng, but that house is only for sale, not rented. It only costs 150 taels, but I'm afraid you won't dare to live in it." Ling Chu was curious, "Is there something wrong with the house? I heard that there was trouble in that house." The new book will be participating in the PK soon. Dear friends, please vote for it. Thank you. End of this chapter.